Good afternoon, everyone. This is our company, Age Performance Nexus. My name is Jay Rainey. I'm a business administration major, minor in entrepreneurship. I attend Morehouse College, and I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. And these are some of my colleagues.
My name is Yasir Salim. I'm a junior business finance major from Macon, Georgia. I go to Morehouse College.
My name is Garner Person Second, junior business administration major from Howard County, Maryland.
Hello, everyone. My name is Benira White, junior business finance major from Chicago, Illinois, attend Morehouse College.
So this is the data set selection that we had. And basically, we selected this data set because it contains crucial demographic and compensation details, specifically the age and salary of the CEOs, which directly align with our research objectives. The data set enables us to, one, test the hypothesis, two, provide insight to the client, and three, broad application across industries. Research question. So our research question is, what is the relationship between CEO, age and company salary in the manufacturing industry?
Describing the company overall, Billy is a furniture LLC. Manufacturers have been in business for 10 years and instead is growing. The current situation is the CEO, Billy, is stepping down and the company is looking for a new leader to step up. The board of directors are evaluating a new CEO and wants to know if the age correlates with the performance of the company. Why is it important? It's important for the decision making of the CEO on the potential impact and the leadership effectiveness of the company performance, the long term growth of the business, and also the data by analyzing CEO age and performance. It provides an insight and align with the company's strategy and goals. The hypothesis is there is no correlation between the CEO and the company's salary. Especially if the CEO age increase, there might be a difference in the salary, reflecting the leadership experience and strategy and decision making and abilities that can influence the company performance. No hypothesis. The average salary across all age groups. The alternate hypothesis. At least one age group is different average salary. So the chart on the left, the scatter plot, is the display between the data point and the data set, and the histogram on the right is the age distribution.
Now moving into the analysis of our results. So as you can see, we have our overview of age gap salary. So in our 30s, you see it's around the $314 million mark. In the 40s, we have an average salary of $429 million. For our 50s category, we have an average salary of $408 million. And for 60 plus, we have an average salary of $431 million. So from those results, you can see we have our S statistic results and then our p-value results. So for F statistics, you see we have a low value, which suggests minimal difference between groups. And for our p-value, you can see we say a greater than 0.05, it fails to reject the null hypothesis. And now we could talk about our key findings. So we found that there are no significant difference in average salaries between CEO age groups. The p-value indicates that salary differences across age groups are statistically insignificant. And lastly, CEO age does not appear to have a significant impact on average salary in this data set. So now on to CEO age versus salary. Once again, we found that there was no significant correlation. So the results from the test indicate that there was no meaningful differences in the average salaries across the CEO age groups. Number two, for salary distribution across age groups, there was minor variations, all of those slight variations in average salaries across the different age groups. Number three, the salary variance within age groups. Greater variances in age groups The data shows that there was a higher salary in older CEO age groups, so in the 40s, 50s, and 60s plus. And for our overall conclusion, we found that age is not a major salary factor. So our analysis suggested that the age on its own is not a significant factor, which influences the CEO salary.
So as far as our model selection, the ANOVA model, which deals specifically with comparing multiple classification groups, in our case, age, our groups being the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60 plus age groups. We felt that it was very beneficial to use a simpler model that allows for larger, a bit of a distribution as far as age goes and when it comes to specifics, allowing us to classify them in easier ways with the 60 total data units, and allowing salary to be the dependent variable versus the age groups being the independent. So how does this model help test our data set? The ANOVA model, by comparing the classifications in this case, allows us to visualize each age group's salary compared to the overall, as well as comparing them to each other. So this was our actual ANOVA model visualization. You can see here that we classify, as earlier stated, that the higher the F value suggests a greater difference between age group means in this case, and the p-value when less than 0.05 indicates that you need to reject the null hypothesis, which in our case is the idea that all age groups have the same average salary. So in the higher portion, you can see some of our averages, the sum of all of the age groups, the distribution of the age groups as far as actual data points within, as well as the variance. And then on the bottom end is the actual ANOVA model itself, showing the degrees of freedom, as well as our F value of 0.36 and our P value of 0.78, which is both above the portion in which you would reject the null hypothesis, and the F critical value, which by comparing it to the F value tells us whether you are to reject the null hypothesis as well. So when the F value is higher than F critical value, you are to reject the null hypothesis. That is not the case here. So we can assume that based our findings are correct in this situation. A lot of this is similar to what was recently stated, just puts it in a visualization. The sum of squares was something that wasn't mentioned, but is also important in this case when it comes to creating your own ANOVA model. A lot of the group variances show the possible expectations as far as what the average salary will end up being from the minimum to the maximum, as well as the different age range averages, so that you can see that there is some expectations to be had when creating your model. But ultimately, once you go through it and find the F critical value, which in our case was 2.769, and the F value, which is 0.362, will give you your conclusion. And in our case, the conclusion based on the data was there's no significant differences between age groups. And this summary is, again, allowing you to find some consistency through our process, in which we were able to clarifyingly say that there was no difference in salary as far as age groups, or there was no determination of age on salary.
Now on to some recommendations to our client. We suggest that age should not be a primary consideration for salary decisions for number one. Number two, focus on experience and leadership skills. Number three, consider broader factors for company success. And number four, salary ranges for all age groups are reasonable. So in conclusion, just for the sake of it, there is no evidence to suggest that age is significantly influences CEO salary in the data set. And the board should mainly focus on skills, experience, and strategic fit rather than age in selecting a new CEO. Now for our summary discussion of results, almost the same thing from the last slide. No significant difference in salaries across age groups. Group averages show minimal variability. Our F statistic indicates small differences. And lastly, implications for the board. In conclusion, the results suggest that age does not play a significant role in determining CEO salaries within the data set, like I said last slide. Salaries are fairly consistent across different age groups and other factors such as experience, leadership skills, or even the company performance. So that may have a more substantial impact on compensation in that case. And now for our surprising facts, 88% of CEOs are avid readers. The Economic Policy Institute suggests that CEO pay growth has outpaced the stock market, and the average worker is paid by wide margins. And 88% of CEOs are oh, well, I don't know why that's in there again, but yeah. Thank you for watching our presentation.